All right,
I
welcome everyone to the second podcast of the day. It's the MMAOB Daily Podcast, Tuesday, January 17th, 2023. Thank you guys for joining us today. Obviously, we usually do the show Monday. Just couldn't do it yesterday, but we're here on Tuesday to talk about UFC 283. And great card, obviously. I mean, this is what you expect from a pay-per-view card, especially one in Brazil. Some of the best Brazilian fighters on the planet on this card. It's pretty stacked. Really interesting prelims, in my opinion, too. You know, you have some really good fighters like buried on the card too. I think this card's awesome, Marcel. Just getting that out of the way. Your overall thoughts on the card. There's a few things I want to talk about before we get into it, but just your quick thoughts on this card, Marcel.
think it's a fun card. It's obviously it's aimed at the Brazilian people. So it's made for that. So I think it's a fun card. There are some great debuts on this one, I think, and. Yeah, two title fights with also like Gilbert Burns against Neil Magny is a fun fight, Overall good fights, and we got the retirement of Shogun on this fight as well in the featured prelim. So I'm looking forward to this one, man. It should be good.
For sure, me too, man. Got a couple of questions here. Any idea why Fairn will take down Robocop for airline? I'm not sure. I didn't notice that. What's up, Joe? How's it going? Hey, Kevin, what's up, man? Glad to have you here, Kevin. We haven't seen you in a while. Antoine, what's up, man? Glad to have you here as well. Joe likes the card. Me too. It's a great card. Just before we get into it, there's two things I want to mention. First off, we did get confirmation, Marcel, that Jeff Molina's been released by the UFC. So I know some people were not 100% sure, but that's happened, right, Marcel? That's confirmed.
Yeah.
So apparently he's been involved with the James Cross gambling thing, and obviously they didn't like that. The other thing would be the other thing to mention is I wanted to throw this out there. Our boy James Lynch, really good friend of the podcast, good friend of mine, good friend of Marcel. He, I think his YouTube account got hacked, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and his Gmail account got hacked. So James, if anyone could help him out with that, just send him a message on Twitter. I know he's using the old Parting Shot Twitter, and now he changed it to his, I think, Lynch Sports or something. So send him a message there. James, one of the best guys in the business. It's really unfortunate that he got hacked. I just wanted to throw that out there because I forgot to mention in the last show because obviously he's a good friend of ours. So just wanted to throw that out there. All right, let's get into this card, Marcel. I'm going to pull it up here. I'll just pull it up on the screen because I think it's a little easier because, there's a lot of fighters making their debut on this card. So let me pull it up here, guys. A second. Get going here. UFC stats. Obviously, you'll use UFC stats to get into this. So let's just start off with the first fight, Marcel. We got Daniel Marcos taking on Saimon Oliveira. Odds for this fight right now, Saimon Oliveira minus 155, Daniel Marcos plus 135. Marcos did open as the favorite, but the lines basically flipped completely. Basically, it did a complete 180. The odds are exact same, but flipped. So what do you think? Do you think that Oliveira should be favored? Do you think Marcos should be favored?
It's difficult. It's very difficult, I think. We know Marcos undefeated. We saw him in the Contender Series against Brandon Lewis.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was okay. I didn't think it was that amazing, but it was okay, and it was apparently good enough for a UFC contract. Saimon Oliveira, he only fought once in the UFC. He fought Gravely. I still don't know how to say it.
I think it's Gravely, but it looks like, right? It says Gravely, but I think it's Gravely, yeah.
Yeah, and it makes me ache for gravy. So and he came also from a Contender Series, I think. He fought what's the guy again from Mexico, Jose Alday. Yeah. So it's really a difficult fight, for me here to pick because I feel like Marcos, he is undefeated, but hasn't fought really impressive competition at all, in my opinion. Maybe a few in this later, but not really I was wow, but at least he fought against guys who have a winning record, We cannot say that for a majority of the guys who come new in the UFC. So it screams kind of split decision to me, this one, it can go either way. And I'm not going to do stupid this time. I'm going to go with a non-debuting guy, and I'm going with Saimon Oliveira. And definitely if it's a split decision, man, we're fucking Brazil. What I'm talking about.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest, I don't really have a clue who's going to win this fight. I think this fight's very hard to call. Marcel, we just don't have a lot of information with these guys.
Yeah.
My lean was the undefeated guy. I wasn't impressed with Oliveira, honestly, on against Gravely, but it is a good opponent, too. So it's and then this guy, he beats Brandon Lewis, but Brandon Lewis is not great. He's not bad, but he's not great either. I fought him on my birthday, September 15th. That's remember that card. Slightly Marcos Marcel, but the fact that the line went from him to favorite to the underdog, it just shows that I think no one has any real clues going to win this one. If you guys want to throw your thoughts in the chat, go ahead. I'll take any comments on this one. But for me, it's just not a fight I have a great read on. I'll lean towards the dog, but yeah, I mean, I really see this fight going either way, obviously. International crowds are always fun, especially on pay-per-view. I agree. I was there in Brazil a few years ago for that Andrade and Rosenau US card. That card, it was 4 years ago, and that was crazy, but it was fucking awesome, man. Like, Brazil is a great place to watch a card. All right, let's go to the next fight here, Marcel. We got Zarah Fairn taking on Josiane Nunes, and this is a women's featherweight fight, and Josiane Nunes is got to be like one of the smallest featherweights on the roster. She is 5'2", but she packs a punch, and she's going to be taking on Zarah Fairn, the French fighter here. And right now, Nunes is a big favorite, minus 520. Zarah Fairn plus 410. I'll just start this one. I mean, I think she knocks her out. I think she wins. Marcel, like, for me, Nunes, like, she already beat a bigger opponent, Bea Malecki. Remember, I liked her there. I think she was underdog in that, if I want to say. Then beats Ramona Pascual, and the power is just really devastating. And I think her opponent, Zarah Fairn, is just not impressive at all. I was not impressed by her fight with. I mean, she gets knocked by Felicia Spencer. Like, that's not a good look. And to me, just not impressive. Hasn't fought in almost 3 years now either. I think Nunes is a setup fight for her to win, and she should win. She absolutely should win this fight by knockout. I think probably in the first round. So the line's is 520. It's very high, but maybe you look at her by knockout, it's only minus 125. I think that's the way to go here. What do you think?
Listen, man, no sane person is gonna pick Zarah Fairn, although they're gonna be like, because she's much bigger, I'm picking her. Man, Zarah Fairn hasn't impressed me once when I saw her fight, and I'm still surprised she's still on the roster, to be really honest. Nunes gonna knock her out, dude. And I think everything less than a knockout, I would be surprised, to be really honest. And there's no disrespect at all. I'm just being honest here. So,
and also she's 10 years younger. I mean, that's another thing. Like, yeah, she's shorter and has lesser reach, but I don't think it matters. Like, I just think that she's gonna knock this girl out. Like, I'm convinced she does. And Sarah's 40. No, sorry. Yeah, she's 40, right? So
yeah, she's already
turning 40 this year, I should say. She's not 40 yet. She's a woman. Let's be fair. 39. I can't see her winning this fight, man. I really just can't. I'm honestly surprised she's still on the roster. Like, hasn't she had like a bunch of fights canceled where she just didn't make the weight and stuff? I don't want to say.
Yeah, I have no idea. Maybe they're like, listen, man, I would have understood it if they used her for the Paris card. You know what I mean? For a next Paris card or whatever. But
yeah.
Why
is she fighting at featherweight though, Josiane? Like, she should be fighting, I think, probably at 125. Like, why is she at 145? I don't get it.
I have no idea, man. And also, I haven't seen one fight of hers where I was like, oh my God, this is a talent that you have to keep her. And it's no disrespect, but that's just being honest, And I'm surprised she's still on the roster. But yeah, let's see what's happening next.
I think Nunes wins for sure. Not many fighters at 145. True. Let's get a couple other comments here. Apparently, in the roster, she's French. We got Jorge saying he likes Marcos ML. Well, I mean, he's from your country, right? Like, that's the Peru, I want to say. The flag? Is yeah. Tris McGee, first time watcher, found you guys from Wearmouth and DraftKings Rainmaker Discord. Great comment so far. Thanks. Hey, man, I really appreciate that. Thank you. Awesome, dude. All right, let's go to the next fight here. We got Warlley Alves taking on Nicolas Dalby. It's an awesome fight. I like this one. I saw Warlley. He was on that card in Brazil that I saw a few years ago. He fought Sergio Moraes and knocked him out, like crazy knockout in the third round. Where I was sitting by the cage, that's where he knocked him out. And it was just like this crazy uppercut, and he knocks him out. So odds for this one, Marcel, very close. Minus 120, Warlley Alves, plus 100, Nicolas Dalby. And interesting fight. It opened as a pick'em, so like the line hasn't moved that much. I lean towards Alves too, though. I do think fighting in Brazil is going to really hype him up for this fight. And, the cardio is a concern with this guy. There's no doubt about it. But I think he's, a pretty dangerous guy, man. And I've always liked him, Marcel. I've always liked this guy. Like, when he came on the scene on the Ultimate Fighter Brazil, and he beat Colin Covington. He has that win over him, obviously. The win over Lazzez. Like, he's got some good wins. Obviously, he has some tough losses too. He's been finished a bunch of times, but I've always liked this guy. And then Dalby, he's a decent fighter, but never really impressed me like a lot. Like, he's one of those guys that, like, he can win fights, but he's also lost like fights where he should have won too, like the Jesse Ronson fight, which was overturned, but still, like, doesn't have a great record in the UFC. It's like basically 500. My lean is towards Warlley Alves, man. I think he can get the job done in Brazil. I think he can probably finish him in this fight, to be honest with you. Like, it's how he wins most of his fights by stoppage. So that'd be my lean, Marcel. What do you think?
Yeah, man. Bruce Lee's Brazilian brother, Warlley. No, that's really bad. Warlley Alves. Yeah, man. I also feel like he's gonna win. I think Warlley Alves. He doesn't really rise to the occasion for some reason. In his last fight, lost to Jeremiah Wells.
Yeah.
Didn't look good in that one. But at the same time, against Lazzez, we saw the old Warlley Alves again before that fight. So. And I feel like in front of his home crowd in Brazil, yeah, I think he will do it. And Nicolas Dalby, let's be really honest, that fight against Claudio Silva was like dog ass. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was really not good. And but he won because he had better cardio, I think, what I can remember from that fight. But yeah, I feel Alves gets a win here as well. And if he doesn't get the win by stoppage, he probably wins by decision.
I forgot he even fought Usman. I completely forgot about that fight.
Yeah.
Lost, yeah.
And also to reply to Kevin Scott, yeah, the Lacerda against Stamann fight, they bumped up again now. That's right before the featured prelim on the fight on the early prelim. So I don't know why that was the second prelim of the early prelims first. So.
Right. Yeah, I'm just using the UFC stats like order, I guess, but it's changed a few times I think this week. Dalby's got the cardio, Alves could finish early. Yeah, I think he's got to finish him, but that's what I think happens. But if he doesn't, you're right. I mean, he might lose the decision just like this guy.
At a certain moment, those idiots from the UFC, they had like Ismail Bonfim and Gabriel Bonfim back to back on the card. I was like, come on, guys, you understand that that's not gonna happen, And they were like, oh, let's put a fight in between. That's so stupid over there sometimes, I mean.
Yeah, no, I get it. All right, let's go to the next fight here, and I mean, this one's one of the best fights in the card. Israel Bonfim against Terrance McKinney. I mean, this has got a quick finish written over it, I think. Just explosive, two guys. McKinney minus 125, Bonfim plus 105. I'll start this one too, Marcel. I love Terrance McKinney. Like, I absolutely love the guy. Like, just a super cool dude. I mean, like the win over Favoa, I called that one on the podcast back in the day. He was 2 years ago now. I mean, he was plus 250 underdog. I loved him there and liked him ever since. But he is a guy that's first round or bust. I mean, I think it's fair to say, Marcel. Like, I love the guy. I'm just saying, like, he's got probably like 5 minutes of cardio or less, and he absolutely can knock this guy out or submit him in the first round. But if he doesn't, the longer the fight goes, it favors Bonfim, and Bonfim's a beast too, and he looked amazing against the Abasov guy on Contender, and I think he's super talented, Marcel. I love Terrance. I hope he doesn't hear this because he follows me on Twitter, and I hope he doesn't hate me for this, but I got to go with Bonfim, Marcel, because I just think Terrance has only got 5 minutes of cardio. I hope he proves me wrong, but I can't trust him here, Marcel. I think Bonfim can hang with him and probably end up finishing him. So that's my pick, Bonfim by finish. What do you think?
Listen, Terrance, I love you, and if you hear this, I'm sorry, man, but I told you this as well. If you want that Paddy Pimblett fight later this year, you have to lose this one. So I'm picking Bonfim as well, because I really want you to have that Paddy Pimblett fight, I just try to make something.
It's tough because we both love this dude, but it's like the flaw is so clear with the cardio, right?
He's also a really good guy, and he's just trying to make a name up for himself as well, to get more eyeballs to his fights. And he really wants a Paddy fight, and I think if he beats Bonfim here, to be really honest, that he probably is close to a top 15 guy, again, like he did with Dober. So yeah, I think he can win the fight, but it has to be early, like you say. I think as longer the fight goes, it favors Bonfim. And second, third round, Bonfim can win that and maybe can edge out the decision. If he cannot get a finish, but definitely second, third round can be for Bonfim. So I feel like I have to go with Bonfim here. But yeah, Paddy can, or Paddy, do you see? And I'm talking about Paddy. Why don't I want to talk about Paddy? Terrance can also win the fight. Don't get me wrong. It will probably get to a stoppage early, but Bonfim here for me as well. Yeah.
I don't think the fight goes the distance. I think this fight ends, probably under 1.5 rounds. That's actually favored at minus 200. I don't think this fight goes long.
To reply to Michael Panza here, if he gets the tough decision, he's not gonna get Paddy, dude, because then he is too dangerous for Paddy. Then the UFC knows oh, he can go 3 rounds and get the decision here. We're not gonna give it to him. But if he lost a decision here again, then the UFC knows they can maybe give him to Paddy, and then I think Paddy is fucked, but whatever.
Maybe the way to play this fight is just to go either guy by knockout, because you go McKinney by knockouts plus 175 and Bonfim by knockouts plus 275. I think either guy wins by knockout. I really do. Again, it'd be either McKinney like early in the first round, and then after that Bonfim takes over, I think. So that's the way I see this fight going. And again, I love Terrance, so if he goes and proves you wrong, it's not a big deal. But just not sure. And I really I thought Bonfim looked like just amazing on the show. But again, it is a step up, Marcel. It is. There's no doubt. Abasov guy's good, but he's not in the UFC. He's not.
But I'm
UFC,
also really high on Abasov, so I take that in consideration.
That was
as well,
a big win. It was a nice win. It was a good fight. It was a very good fight. It was an excellent fight. So we'll see what happens. Glenn likes him by sub. That's interesting too. And he could win by sub. I mean, he's obviously got good submission game. One of the crazy story on this card, which is y'all's favorite? That's a good question. Just probably the light heavyweight title being vacant still, and those two guys fighting for each other, fighting for in the main event, Glover and Hill, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. Fight doesn't see round 2. I mean, I doubt it too. All right, let's go to the next fight here, guys. Next fight is Luan Lacerda against Cody Stamann. Odds for this one, we have Stamann big favorite minus 350, Lacerda plus 290. Go ahead and start with this one, Marcel.
So let's first take a look at Cody Stamann. I was really surprised to make this fight, to be really honest, because Cody Stamann, he gotta have a name in the UFC. He's been in the top 15 for a long time, not anymore now, but he has been there. He has been there. Got 3 losses in a row, went out of the top 15. But if you look at who he lost to, Jimmy Rivera, Merab Dvalishvili, and Said Nurmagomedov, those are not bad losses, dude, and he got the win last time against Eddie Warlley, which everybody pretty much expected because Eddie was on his way out and he officially retired after that fight. If you look at Luan Lacerda, he's from Nova União, Brazilian talent, pretty solid, man. I saw his LFA fights. I think he looked really good. I think he's pretty good on the ground, which I saw.
Yep.
So it's going to be a fun matchup, I think. Cody Stamann, we know he's good in his wrestling, but Luan looks solid, and we got to say this is a step up for him in competition, although he has a win over Raulian Paiva on his record via Anaconda choke. His only loss to Ari Farias, which is also a pretty big prospect in my opinion.
He just lost to LFA, but he's good.
Yeah, so I'm going with I don't know what the odds are, but for me, I think Stamann might be
he's a big favorite. He's minus 350. He's actually one of the bigger favorites on the card.
Then I'm going with the upset here. I'm taking Lacerda, and I think Lacerda might even finishes him late in the fight.
I mean, whenever you have a fight like this where you kind of scratch your head and wonder why they made the match, you kind of have to look at the dog, I think. Like you are. And this guy's good. I mean, like you said, LFA guy, fought in those LFA Brazil cards, submitted both his opponents. Actually has, like you said, a decent amount of experience, including that win over Paiva. He's fought some good competition as well. I think he's definitely got a chance. He's also been a fighter for 10 years. Like, it's not like he's new to the sport. He's good. It's a good signing, I think. At the same time, Marcel, Stamann has way more experience in the UFC against elite competition. And, a lot of these fights were pretty competitive too. Like, they weren't blowout fights by any means. I'm going to lean towards Stamann to win a decision here, but I wouldn't be surprised if the underdog actually won this fight. So for me, I would stay away from it, guys. At minus 350, there's no value here, I don't think, at all. I'll still pick Stamann by decision just because, again, the experience and the wrestling, but I think this guy can win. I do. So I think it's a good pick, Marcel, especially with the odds. I just can't get there myself, but I don't blame you at all for taking a shot on this guy because I think he's got a chance. George likes Lacerda too. There you go. There's another one. I think Cody's too big a favorite. Yeah, the value's not there. That's for sure. Stamann by decision or fight goes distance. Let me take a look. Stamann by decision. Stamann by decision is minus 138. So, you have to lay juice on. I don't love that. How about Lacerda by submission? That's interesting, eh? Plus 425. It's interesting. I think that he probably submit him, right? When you think?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because that's the way he finishes his fights. He's a good grappler. That's why it's interesting, right? Because you have Stamann's a good wrestler, but this guy's a good grappler. At the same time, though, Cody, I know Eddie Wine's old and chinny, but he did knock him out, so he's got some power, obviously. Yeah, it's a good fight, Marcel. Again, when they first announced it, I was like, why did they make this fight? But when you look into it a little bit more, you start to think, okay, this guy's got probably more of a chance than I initially thought. So, anyways, let's go to the next fight, guys. We have Jailton Almeida against Shamil Abdurakhimov, and yeah, this is a fight that I don't really see one of the guys having much of a chance here. I mean, there's a reason the odds are so high, Marcel. This is the third time this fight's been booked. Minus 900, Jailton, plus 625, Shamil. Jailton wins any way he wants. He's going to win quickly, probably in the first round. I think probably by knockout, but he could submit him too. I think he probably gets him down, grounds and pounds him. I just don't see this fight any other way but Jailton finishing the fight. Jailton inside the distance minus 450. It's half the price of the money line. There's no way this fight goes the distance. Jailton by stoppage. I'm assuming you're gonna take the same.
Yeah, Jailton is gonna win by stoppage, definitely. It can be ground and pound, can be submission. I think he can do both. It's a little bit what he wants. I think when he will go for the takedown immediately. He doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, he's just so good with the grappling, man. Like Parker Porter is actually not a bad defensive grappler, and he submitted him really quickly. The Anton Turkai guy is not bad either, and he submitted him. Danilo Marquez, another good grappler, Marcel takes him down, just pounds the shit out of them. He's just a beast. And then Shamil barely fights anymore. He's coming off brutal knock losses. What were you gonna say?
Actually, the fight he has the most difficult with was his contender series fight against Nasruddinov, in the first round. That was the most difficult one for him so far. So
looked like a beast since then, though, like just an absolute monster.
Amazing, man.
You can't pick against this guy. He's just a monster. A couple comments here. Hey, Brazil cards, you think they'll do this year? They did 2 London cards last year. I hope like 5. That's what I'm hoping. I don't know, but hopefully like that. This is the first one.
A few fight nights.
Yeah, a couple of fight nights. Maybe one. Do you want more pay-per-view? Maybe one more at the end of the year. Probably not. Maybe
one. Maybe one pay-per-view and a few fight nights. Yeah.
Marcus says, "I'd love to see Almeida fight 205." Me too. I don't like it. I don't love him a heavyweight. What are you gonna say?
I'm like, as long as they don't go to Canada, I think. No, just kidding.
Of course. Don't go to Denmark or not Denmark. Denmark. Speaking of poor, you see on the main card 284 versus Tough. I did see that. That's interesting. All right, let's go to the next fight here. We got Gabriel Bonfim taking on Mounir Lazzez, and this is a fun fight, Marcel. Odds for this one: Gabriel Bonfim is favored minus 175, Mounir Lazzez plus 150. Your thoughts on this fight, which is another fun one?
I'm just sad that you think that I come from Denmark, but
it's just the slip of the tongue. But yeah. My bad.
Actually, very funny. Gabriel Bonfim against Mounir Lazzez. The thing with Mounir Lazzez is like everybody was super high on him. Remember when he fought Abdulrazak Al Hassan and won by decision?
Mm-hmm.
And everyone was like, everyone was like, oh man, this guy's really good. But then Abdulrazak went on an awful streak. Remember?
Yep.
And Lazzez lost to Alves. And then he came back last time against H. Lusa. Did that amazing post-fight speech where we got a lot of shit for. Remember? And the amazing is between the
Kinnerhand or whatever.
Yeah.
That was last April. That's crazy. Time's gone by so fast. That was 8 months ago. Unreal.
Yeah. And also taking consideration that Lazzez is not the youngest anymore. He's older than me, for God's sake.
Me too.
So Bonfim, I really like Bonfim, man. I gotta be honest, man. I think he got a gimme matchup in Trey Waters, but that was he was on short notice getting in for somebody, So, but Bonfim is really good as well, just like his brother, And man, I'm taking Bonfim here, man. I think Bonfim gets the win, and I think both brothers getting the win on this card.
Yeah, I just wanted to see what Maritini means because my head Kenya, because it's like Thiago Santos. I think it's Hammer too. Right?
Sledgehammer is Moretta, so it's probably little Sledgehammer.
I could Google it. It's like a little hammer, yeah. So, I mean, how do you not pick this guy? I think both the brothers win, man. Like, I think they're both beasts. I like this guy here, Marcel. I think he gets the job done too. Lazzez is a good striker, obviously, and he's got some really good technique and some power. But I just think this Bonfim guy's next level, and also like on the ground, I think like that's where he shines too. So I'm taking both the brothers. I'm high on both of them, and I do think both of them win probably by stoppage. So give me Gabriel Bonfim, Marcel, take him down, and do you think he submits him a decision or knockout? What do you think for the method?
I think if he wins, he submits him probably.
That's what I'm thinking too. So I need to take a look at that prop because I do think that's the clearest path to win. Plus 190. So it's not great odds, but that's what I do think. That's what happens. Couple comments. Glenn saw with the seats, lots of seats left. Oh, that's interesting. Bonfim brothers, they're both very good, George. 6-0 and they're fighting the same cards. Interesting. Lazzez is getting up there in age. Lazzez hasn't been in US since the shoutout. As far as I know, maybe banned. Yeah, that's interesting. Like that Tommy Fury guy. Although I think he's fighting Jake Paul next. That's what I've heard. I think that was announced today. All right, let's go to the next fight here. We got Thiago Moises taking on Melquizael Costa. That's an interesting name, that's for sure. This one's interesting too, Marcel, because again, it's one of those fights where you kind of look at it and you're wondering why, but I think it's short notice, right, for the other guy?
Yeah.
Thiago Moises.
Moises
Gumar Kutateladze.
Yeah, Kutateladze.
And I think I would have picked Kutateladze in that fight for sure, but now he's got a fight he can win because minus 360 favorite, plus 295 in the underdog. I mean, I think you have to go with Moises, right? Just because, again, the experience, the full camp, the level of competition. Again, the Mizico guy, he's a pretty good prospect. A lot of experience, Marcel. He's got 24 fights. He actually has more fights, which is interesting. But again, the level of competition, you look, this guy's fought Islam and he just beat Thiago, fought Bobby Green, Michael Johnson, like Demir, Benil, like he's been ever since they threw him in the UFC, he's been thrown to the meat grinder. If you look at the opponents he's had, and Joel Alvarez fight that was interesting. But although that was up, the guy missed weight badly, right? So I don't really like look at that loss as like a horrible loss by any means because I think his opponent really kind of is a weight cheater a little bit. Anyways, Moises I think wins this fight. What do you think?
Yeah, so I first want to talk about Melquizael Costa. So the guy has vitiligo, right?
Yeah.
So I felt bad, man. When I always post like the fight announcement and I tag the fighter in it. Man, some horrible comments under it, like people don't know what he had. It's like Scott Jorgensen. Back in the day, he had it as well, and it completely disappeared at a certain moment. He was just completely pale. Remember, and. Yeah, I mean, the first time I heard about Melquizael Costa was when he was supposed to fight in Russia against Alexander Shabli. I think it was somewhere in 2020. That fight didn't happen. And recently fought in LFA. I think he's a fun fighter, man. I think he's a good fighter as well, But if you look at the Wu fought Wu, I think Thiago Moises is just fought the better fighters, And it's better for me to, how do you say that, to tell what he can and what he can't, And I think Thiago Moises is an underrated fighter, to be really honest. Both Brazilians, I would pick Moises here, but I take a decision here.
Yeah, probably. Maybe he submits him, but you're right. I mean, I think he wins either way. And this guy's probably pretty good, but it's a tough situation with the short notice and everything. A couple other comments, guys. If you had 900 and want to make 100, bet on Almeida. I mean, I think he wins for sure. So I don't think it's bad juice. What's up, man? How's it going? You guys cannot wait for Figgy Mario 4. Yeah, great fight. Moises pushed the pace, wins by decision probably. After seeing Nagano leave, do you think more people take steps like Costa and leave UFC and same passion as Nagano? Possibly, yeah. Possibly for sure. Melk striking looked phenomenal. Yeah, he's good, but again, I don't know. It's a big step up in my opinion. So at this point, we don't see Guram. I know Guram's awesome, man. It sucks he's not fighting in this card. All right, let's go to the next fight here, guys. We got Gregory Rodriguez taking on Bruno Ferreira. And yeah, I just noticed the line is taken down from FanDuel, which is weird, but all the other books still have it. So hopefully there's no funny business going on. But Ferreira did take the fight short notice. Odds for this one, Gregory Rodriguez minus 350, Bruno Ferreira plus 290. I think it's going to be a fun fight for as long as it lasts because Ferreira's got a lot of power, Marcel. Like we saw that in Contender, obviously, got that quick knockout. They call him the Hulk because he's a beast. But I mean, how do you not take Rodriguez? Like the guy is, proven now that he has great striking, like huge power. He's tough as fucking hell. He had that crazy cut and still came back and won. He's got great grappling. His chain is still a little bit of a question mark in my opinion. He's been tagged, in his past, like that fight with Jordan Williams got knocked out, but striking's there, man. And I think the guy's just really good. And obviously he's got a lot of experience now in the octagon against some pretty tough competition like Chidi and Julian Marquez, Julian Park. These are good fighters. Even the Armin fight, he could have won that fight. It was a very close fight.
He should.
Yeah, it was close. I don't know how you don't go with him. I have to go Gregory Rodriguez, Marcel. I mean, I'm taking him to win this fight. And I think he knocks him out. I think it's going to be a fun fight, but I think he knocks him out. What's your pick?
I'm upset with the UFC by the way of how they promoted this. This is RoboCop against Hulk, ladies and gentlemen. RoboCop against Hulk. These are two guys who always come to throw down. You got Hulk with the knockout power. You got Rodriguez with the crazy RoboCop scar. Are you not going to buy that? But I think as long as the fight goes, Rodriguez is going to win the fight. But I'm going to go with a little upset here, man. I think Hulk touches him, and I think he might stop him. I'm going with the TKO knockout for Hulk in the first round. I'm kind of going with a little bit of an upset here, maybe a little bit crazy, But sometimes you got to go a little bit crazy because I am actually crazy, but you guys don't know.
He's got power. There's no doubt.
Yeah, so that's why I think this kind of be like, remember the like one punch knockout sometimes that happen that you totally don't expect. I feel like this can be another case of that, Normally, I would pick RoboCop in this one, but I feel like Ferreira can win this one in front of his own crowd. Rodriguez now living in the US, Hulk living in Brazil. I'm taking the Hulk here. KO.
Yeah. Well, it should be a good fight either way, I think, anyways, right? It should be a fun one.
Yeah, you absolutely don't feel it. I know, but it's just
I mean,
think.
he's got a chance. He's got a puncher's chance. There's no doubt about that. I think if you're going to bet on the guy, you might as well just take him by knockout, which is plus 350. So you get a little better. Actually, you might as well just take the money line now that I look at it because it's plus 290. Not that big of a difference. But yeah, I like RoboCop. Our boy Joey likes RoboCop too. All right, let's go to the next fight here. We go to the last prelim, Marcel. We got Igor Pretoria against Shogun Hua. Odds for this one, Igor is minus 205, Shogun's plus 175. And I'll start this one off, Marcel.
Yeah, go ahead.
Now I got an upset pick for you. I'm going with Shogun. End his career with a knockout win over this guy. I just don't think this guy is that good, honestly. And, he obviously got knocked out by Nicolas in his debut. I think the UFC is giving him a fight Shogun could win in Brazil. Obviously, he didn't look good against OSP and even against Paul Craig. Like, he hasn't looked good in a while, let's be honest. Like, he really hasn't. But, I mean, it's still Shogun. He's still, got power. He is old now. He's 41, 42. He's getting up there in age. There's no doubt about it. And I understand most people fade him in the spot. I get it. But I do think he can win this fight. I do think he can knock this guy out. And he's a guy that surprised us in the past, and he's had a lot of wins in Brazil too. So I don't know, man. I'm not too impressed by Ihor, and I think he's going to get KO'd here. So I'm going with Shogun by knockout. Marcelo, there's my underdog pick. There you go. What do you think?
I think Adam Martin stopped reading my fucking mind.
You take him too? Oh, there we go.
Think exactly the same way. I think the UFC saw in Pretoria that he wasn't really that good, in his last fight. And Shogun's last fight, they really want to give Shogun actually a chance to get a good goodbye in front of his home crowd. And this is a fight he can win. It's not a fight he definitely is going to win, but he can win if he shows up as Shogun and he wants to fight his last fight in front of his home crowd. He can win this fight. So I'm picking Shogun as well here.
There you go. So we both have the same pick there. And by the way, I just looked Shogun by knockouts plus 500. That is crazy to me because I think that's how he would probably win this fight. I think he could touch this guy. I really do. I get it. People are going to fade him. He's old and he's not good anymore.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, I get it. But I just think that this is a fight that he could win. And again, like, why is the UFC setting to the slaughter against the guys coming off a loss? Like, if it was like a prospect on the rise, then I would be like, okay, they're trying to build this guy up. But like, why would they try to build up Ihor? I think the UFC is giving him a fight he can win. Will he win it? We'll see. But I think he can win the fight. So that's my pick here. Shame Aldo didn't get the same Rio sent off. Yeah, he fought Volk, right? I want to say. I remember seeing that fight. All right, let's go to the next fight here. First fight in the main card, right, Marcel? We got Jamal Hill, you got Johnny Walker, taking on Paul Craig. First fight in the main card.
Excuse me.
Yeah, I got it confused there for a second.
Johnny
Walker, Paul Craig, right?
There thank you.
My bad, sorry. Odds for this one: Johnny Walker minus 190, Paul Craig plus 160. What do you think, Ben?
Yeah, so it's striker versus grappler, let's be honest, Yeah, Johnny Walker, you got the striker who got the submission last time against Ian Cutelaba. Was on a bad streak before that. Paul Craig, he got that loss against Ozdemir where we tried to get him to the ground but didn't work for him. Before that, he got beat up by Nikita Krylov, got him to the ground and submitted him. So we know what's going to happen here probably. So Johnny Walker is probably going to touch Paul Craig. Paul Craig is going to go down, and Johnny Walker is going to be stupid and going in the guard of Paul Craig, And Paul Craig gets a triangle choke first round submission. That's going to happen.
Oh, you read my mind too again. I'm taking Paul Craig too for the upset. So it's another upset I think can happen. Listen, Johnny Walker's a fun fighter to watch, great knockout power. He obviously can win this fight by knockout, but
of course.
I do think that, if Paul Craig gets him to the ground, he's going to be in trouble. And I think Craig can submit him too. So yeah, I mean, there's only two ways this fight ends, in my opinion. It's either Johnny Walker wins by knockout or Paul Craig wins by submission. And I'll take the dog in this one. Because again, some underdogs will win in this card, and it's one I think can win. So Paul Craig by submission plus 275. I don't mind that at all. I think he wins by sub, takes him down, submits him. But I'm not great at picking his fights, guys. As you know, like it's like whenever I pick him, he loses, and whenever I don't pick him, he wins. So I'm hoping this is the case where I'm right. But he's a guy that's a lot of his wins are come as an underdog too, and it wouldn't surprise me again if he goes in there and gets it done. And I think that's the value side here. A couple of comments here. Should Gerald Mershard and Shara Putin be booked for UFC London? Sure. I mean, sounds
Why
good to
not?
me. Do you guys know whether Ali was trying to duck Fiziev and that's why it took so long to announce? I don't know, but I'm glad they finally announced the fight.
Yeah.
Although I
think it worked for 2 months.
I lean Fiziev in that fight, by the way. I mean, I think you have to. I love Gaethje, but he's so hittable. All right, let's go to the next fight here. Marcel, we got Jessica Andrade taking on Lauren Murphy. And the odds for this one, Andrade is one of the biggest. She's one of the biggest favorites in the card. Minus 475. Lauren Murphy plus 380. I mean, how do you not go with Andrade here? Like, I know Murphy's tough. She's hard to finish. I get it. But, like, Andrade's a different beast, man. Like, she's just like a little monster. Like, just the amount of power she has, like, the submissions, like, everything. Like, she's just a beast. Like, experience, like, against elite competition ever since she came to the UFC. Like, love Jessica Andrade, man. She's so good. And Murphy, listen, tough as nails, pull off some great upsets during her career. Just I think really her durability is the one way that she could win this fight. But again, she did get finished by Valentina, and Andrade, man, she hits like a truck. It's interesting. Also, I want to say, like, Andrade apparently wants to be back to 115 after this fight. She wants a title shot rematch against Warlley, so that's interesting. But she doesn't want to stick at 125 because I think that Valentina is just a horrible matchup for her. But, Warlley in the first fight ended quickly. What are you going
to say? She doesn't want to be at 125, but she's knocking off contenders there.
I know, right? Yeah, she's good. Anyways, I'm going with Andrade by TKO. That's my pick.
Yeah, I mean, how can you not? I mean, I have all respect in the world for Lauren Murphy. I think she's super tough, but Andrade, the thing is with Andrade, she can finish girls, and she can finish them with KOs and with submissions. She's a complete fighter, Yeah, I'm taking her. I think she stops Lauren Murphy early, to be really honest. And there's no disrespect again to Murphy because I think she's super tough. But Andrade has the ability to finish, and if she can do it, she will do it. So, and she hits hard, she hits super hard. So, yeah.
She's a little tank, man. Little beast. Mm-hmm. Got to go with her, man. Got to. All right, let's go to the next fight here. Don't overthink that one. I just think she wins for sure. All right, Gilbert Burns against Neil Magny. Burns is a big favorite here, minus 450. Neil Magny plus 360. Another fight I don't really want to overthink. I mean, listen, Neil Magny's a great fighter. He's been around for a long time, tons of experience, huge for the weight class. But I mean, I just think Gilbert Burns is on another level, man. I really do. And I think he proved that against Chimaev, like almost beating him. And, just the wins he has, the run he's gone on at welterweight. He lost to Usman and Chimaev. There's no shame in those losses. And Neil's a great fighter too, but, he's been in the UFC a long time. He's had some losses I think he should have won. And fight that I didn't think he'd win, he won too. So, listen, he's pulled off a lot of upsets. I get it. And he's improved his ground game as we saw in the last fight. But I just think Burns, different beast. And also, like, look at this. To me, 57% takedown defense. That's not gonna work in this fight. I think Burns gets him down. The question for me is, does he submit him or does he win by decision? I'm leaning decision just because of Magny's improved grappling, but I think he could submit him too. But either way, I like Burns to win the fight. I think he takes him down to the ground, controls him on the ground. What do you think?
I have nothing more to add, man. I also think a decision. I think Magny's super tough, and I think Magny might edge it out to the third round, but I think Burns wins the fight. Yeah,
Burns by decision plus 165. That's what we both like here. So that's the way we're going to go in this one, guys. Burns by sub is plus 265. So 225, excuse me. That's interesting. I don't see a path for Magny to beat Burns. Me either. I mean, I guess he would have to keep it standing with decision, maybe knock him out, but I just don't really see it happening. After you guys finish, maybe rate 1 to 10. Okay, that sounds good. Is the winner of this fight getting Furo next? Maybe. I mean, she wants to fight one more time, so probably.
Oh, he means Andrade Murphy.
The last fight. Yeah, the last fight.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the next fight. We're at the title fight here, guys. Davison Figueiredo versus Brandon Moreno 4. So really interesting. We finally get the fourth fight in UFC history, the quadrilogy. The odds are minus 110 each. It's a pick-em fight, Marcel. I want to hear your thoughts on this fourth fight. I'll just say this. The first fight, I thought that Davison won. I picked him to win. There was a split draw. The second fight, I picked him again because I thought he won the first one. Then Brandon wins the fight by submission. Then the third fight, I thought, okay, Brandon won dominated fashion the second fight. Then Davison won the third one. I got that one wrong. So right now, I'm 0-2-1 in the fights because the draw, I mean, you don't count it, but it's obviously not the easiest fight to pick. I think that's why the odds are minus 110 each, man. So what do you think?
I want to know if you know. There was before 2 fighters who fought 4 times against each other, but 3 of those fights were in the UFC.
Yeah.
Who are they?
Andre Arlovsky, Tim Sylvia.
Yeah, of course you know.
Yeah, I'm smart.
Yeah.
The fourth fight was in one championship, and there was like a legal
DQ.
DQ, yeah. Or
Yeah,
was it no contest or DQ? I want to say no contest.
I could be no. I remember that Arlovsky was like, I couldn't kick him, but I wanted to
Yeah,
kick him, so I
I think
didn't.
it was a no. Let me double check, but I think it was a no contest, Marcel, and yeah, it
Okay.
was. They could do a fifth fight between those guys
Yeah.
one day. Although I think Tim is retired from MMA at this point. He's 46 too. So yeah.
Yeah, the thing is, like, Davidson Figueiredo Moreno first fight. Moreno would have over Davison won the fight, but he got that point deduction, right? So it went to a draw. Second fight, Moreno looked a lot better, submitted him. Third fight, many people say it was clear for Figueiredo. I don't think it was clear for Figueiredo. I think it was a close fight. I think Figueiredo just had a bigger rounds, you know. Now fourth fight, I feel like Moreno is still progressing to a better fighter, you know, and I feel Figueiredo is a little bit stationary right now, you know, and I think Figueiredo moves to bantamweight, winning or losing this fight, you know, after this one. So I think Moreno wins this. I think Moreno subs him in the fourth round. That's what my pick is here.
Moreno in the fourth round by sub.
Yeah,
that's interesting. Yeah, again, like obviously haven't been, you know, great at picking this fight, but I'm leaning towards Davison to win a close decision.
So Moreno is going to win.
Probably,
okay.
Yeah. Davison by decision in Brazil. That's what I'm thinking in this one. I think it's going to be close. I think both guys by decision are interesting. Plus 200 Moreno, plus 250 Figueiredo. I think this fight goes the distance again, personally.
Adam, let's be honest. If you go with a close decision, you got to go with Figueiredo in Brazil, I think. So that's
what I'm saying. That's why I'm picking it. I think it kind of played out the last fight and the first fight. The second fight, I really think that weight cut, because remember he was the last guy to weigh in that day. He came in like right before the scale was closed up. So I think that played a factor. We'll see. That's value of the dog by decision. I mean, basically it's pickup fight. Praying Moreno Figgy doesn't end a draw. Yeah, I don't want to see them fight again. Pantoja should get the fight. Is Pantoja a backup fighter? Is he, Marcel? Is he there?
I'm not sure. I only know that Anthony Smith is a backup for the main event, but that's it.
Which would be interesting to fight Hill after they just trained together, right?
Yeah.
Pantoja Rio's the backup. Yeah, we don't know. Figure makes the way I think he wins. That's kind of what I'm thinking. But yeah, that's true actually. Moreno did go to a different camp, obviously. Joe likes him by sub too. Someone's asking about the Ayers card. I didn't take a look, man. Sorry. Marcel would know more about that than me, but I didn't really take a look, although I usually put on a good show. All right, let's go to the last fight here, guys. We have the main event of UFC 283. Jamahal Hill taking on Glover Teixeira, UFC vacant light heavyweight title. Odds for this one, Jamahal Hill minus 125, plus 105 Glover Teixeira. I mean, you know me, Marcel, like Glover's one of my all-time favorites. Love the guy, absolute monster. I just can't pick him in this fight, man. At age 43, coming off of like one of the craziest wars ever, getting the amount of damage, taking the amount of damage he had in that fight, and coming in here against a knockout artist, and Jamahal Hill has just been on a tear. I have to go with Jamahal Hill by knockout, and I have to. Listen, I get it. Against Thiago Santos, he got taken down, got controlled, and there's no doubt that if Glover gets him down, he could submit him, but I just feel like it's going to be Jamahal staying. I think he's going to catch him on the chin and put him away, and love Glover, man. I think he's going to get knocked out in this fight. That's my pick. Jamahal Hill by knockout, probably like first or second round. What do you think?
So, yeah, the thing is, like, I think Glover wins the fight, dude.
There you go. Okay.
I think he's better. Definitely. I don't say Jamahal can't fight on the ground. I don't say that, but I think he's better on the ground, you know. And Glover, he's super tough, man, and he still has that in him. You saw it in the Prohaska fight. And Jamahal Hill is a good fighter, but he isn't Jiri Prohaska. You know what I mean? Jamahal Hill had difficulties with Thiago Santos in his last fight. You know, he finished him and stopped him, but he had difficulties. Glover is a much tougher fight. And I think Glover gets it to the ground at a certain moment, and he subs him in the second round. So I have Glover to Sarah here.
There we go. Okay, so I'm glad we have a different pick on the main event. That's interesting. And the co-main event we had. So it'll be interesting come Saturday or to see what happens the next Monday. One of us can brag, or maybe we'll be tied 1-1. Yeah, fight doesn't go the distance. Oh, minus 650. Yeah, I don't see this fight going the distance. I think it ends pretty early. You know, even under 2.5 rounds. I just don't see it going that long. Obviously, Glover's got a chance to submit him. There's no doubt. And you know, looking at it, Hill's takedown defense is only 65%. That's not that good. I thought it was a little better than that, but obviously Santos took him down 6 times, right? Mm-hmm. At the same time, though, he didn't submit, and then he ended up brutally finishing him too. I don't know.
But Santos is not in the same ballpark as Glover Teixeira, dude.
Completely agree. I mean, Glover obviously submitted him, right? Yeah. So, but Santos also dropped him too, and that's what I'm worried about, just the chin. Because again, I think it catches up to you eventually, you know. And
of course,
obviously he hasn't been knocked out in a while, but like Gustafsson brutally knocked him out. Rumble. It's not like he hasn't been knocked out before. So I don't know. I mean, we'll see what happens. I love Glover though, so if he wins, I'm not gonna be upset about it. But
Who did Glover lost to in his debut, man? Or did he win?
This is WEC back in the
I would say he would have won against Kingsbury, I think, his debut, right?
Yeah, he won. I know, right? He's been in the UFC for 11 years now, which is crazy. And these fights were brutal. This fight with Fabio Maldonado was a doctor stoppage. You just beat the shit out of him.
Maldonado.
Yeah, I loved Maldonado, man. He had some great fights. Fun guy to watch. But yeah, I mean, Glover's an absolute beast. Love him. The Bader fight too. Good performance. I don't know. I mean, I just feel like Father Time will always catch up with everyone, and I think we'll see that here. But hey, man, if he goes and wins, I mean, that'd be something special. So.
Imagine Glover winning the belt, and says I'm retiring today.
That'd be interesting. And Dave's gonna be so pissed. Getting sent off in Brazil. Yeah, he likes Hill too. Marcus likes Hill. Yeah, Glover's an all-time top game. I don't think he'll get it back up. Still Hill by knockout. Yeah, Glover too. There you go. Brazil Cloud. Glover for the win. Well, it looks like you guys are split. That's interesting. Well, that's good. I like to see that. I don't want to. That's another fight. Like you want to see a little bit of dissension. You don't want to just be like, all right, this guy's going to win. Like it's nice to see some dissension. So earlier we had 2 questions that I remember. If there's any more, we'll take them. But I know Antoine asked, what do you rate the card from 1 to 10? I'd give it like a 9. I think this is a great card. What do you think?
I give it an 8.
Okay, that's pretty solid. The other question was, I don't know if the guy's in the chat anymore, but he said, can you put together a parlay of, I think he said 2 or 3 fighters, I want to say he said.
You got to pick Shogun. That's our underdog pick.
Well, that would be our consensus dog. That's our consensus dog. We don't parlay the consensus dog. We just So that's our consensus dog on this card, guys. There was a few other dogs that we both picked Paul Craig too, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have 2 consensus dogs on this card, which is interesting.
Bonfim.
And Bonfim. So we actually have 3. Well, that's interesting. Okay. That's interesting. We usually don't have that. But we have 3 consensus dogs. So that's interesting. Make of that what you will. Pardon?
Parlay Andrade, I would say.
Andrade, I think with Josiane Nunes, right?
Yeah.
So I'm looking at the odds. Andrade, Nunes.
Jailton.
I hate doing like 3 or 4 teams, or fighters, I should say, but and then Burns, I guess. If you do those 4, it's even money. You like all 4 to win?
Yeah.
Again, I don't love parlays. I like straight bets, but I think they all win. I'd be surprised if any of those fighters lost. So I mean, that's just something to think about. And again, someone asked. For me, I like straight bets better personally. You just have to worry about one guy or whatever to win or lose. But if you like parlays, I think all those 4 win. Obviously, there's some other guys like Stamann and Moises and Rodriguez that are all good. They all should win, but I don't know. I mean, like obviously Marcel disagreed with some of those, so we'll stay away from those fights. But yeah, I think those 4 I think should win. I don't know. Let's see what other people are saying here. Agree to 2-3 fight, 2-3 like parlay. Yeah, man. I mean, that's kind of what we got for you, man. It's obviously 4. You can take out Jailton if you want, I guess. If you want, I mean, it doesn't change the odds that much. If you want us to do 2 teams, I don't know. It's tough. Yeah, like I said, I think those dogs that we gave out, we kind of like those a little better, just for like a 1-teamer. Yeah, I don't know. It's just because of the way the odds are structured, it's like hard to like kind of make a 2-teamer unless you take like Gabriel Bonfim and then put him with someone. Like you could put him. You like Bonfim too, Gabriel? You like him?
Mm-hmm. Both Bonfims.
Yeah. Well,
the Bonfim parlay.
Yeah, plus 222. Again, I would just play Israel straight because he is a dog, but that's interesting too. So the Bonfim parlay, the Bonfim brother parlay. What do you think would be fight of the night? Ooh, good question. I guess I'd go with the co-main event. What would you pick?
I'd go with the flyweight title. Yeah, probably.
Yep. Who do you guys got? Spann, Krylov. Got to think about it, but Spann looked great, but Krylov's a really underrated fighter. Flair wins retires fights the belt next. I mean, I would assume that.
Ankalaev.
I would assume, right? But obviously, he hates them. So Dana White doesn't like the guy. Apparently, gonna make an Adam Martin Big Marcel weekly parlay graphic. All right. Well, we'll know now for next time. That's cool. You're gonna do that. I don't mind that. Just got to think about it more. But yeah, I mean, do you want to do the Bonfim brothers? I don't know. Like you could do that, but I'm just saying. Like I prefer just to bet a dog straight, especially because you can plus money. Like I don't think you need to get cute and parlay it. But yeah, I think that I know it's 4 teams, but I think Burns, Andrade, Nunes, and Shamil all win. I'm sorry, not Shamil. Excuse me, Jailton. Sorry. I don't think Shamil wins. I think they'll win. I'm a little bit more hesitant on like Moises, like for instance. I do think Rodriguez wins, but you didn't like him, so we can't put him in there. And then what was the other one? Oh, Stamann. But again, that one you didn't like either, right? So we can't put him in there either. We have to agree. If we don't agree, we're not going to throw him in there. But yeah, I mean, I guess that'd be the way to go. Losing Guram and Masvidal, Duckenberg makes the 8 card. Okay, well that's fair. I think it's a good card though. Anyways, we'll take any other questions you guys got. We got a few minutes left here. We'll take any other questions you guys want to talk about from this card.
Do a few matchups or whatever.
Sorry, you want to do a few matchups?
A few fight announcements.
Sure, let's do that. I closed it already. Okay. Go to Marcel's page. Pull it up here. Oh, Mata and Bomb Mondays is happening. Marcel broke the news, right?
No, I didn't break it. Legaspi did it.
Okay,
UFC 287.
Confirmed it. Yeah, that's in Brooklyn Barclays Center. What's up, Patrick? Any thoughts on Arlen Alstein's offer for an event? How to be Holloway fun? I guess, but I mean, he's injured, right? He's got shoulder or something, or hand?
Yeah.
Something shoulder. It's too bad. I mean, he's on such a nice win streak. I guess it would have been Max because, like, who else would it have been? I think we talked about this, right? We talked about someone. Was it Alex that said a trade? Yeah. Max Holloway to Bellator just makes sense, doesn't it? Like the Hawaii cards, and he's in a bad spot in the UFC right now. Like he really is in a tough spot. Obviously, Volk wins the lightweight belt, then he'll probably stay at lightweight. But I mean, odds of him winning are not very good. Excuse me. Max to Bellator for some fighters, but obviously maybe we talked about Agent McKee for him. That's not happening now because he just signed an extension. So rib injury. Sorry. Okay, that's what it is. Alan Topuria, maybe. I mean, Topuria is a monster too. But I don't know. Arnold, I don't know. He doesn't fight that often. That's the one problem I've had with the guy, right? He fights once a year. All right, Marcel, let's pull it up. Pull up your speaking of the devil.
Pants, yeah.
Pull up your pants. We don't need to see that. I love this fight, Bahamondes and Nicolas. I know Nicolas was the one saying, "Hey, we have the same record and we both have the same amount of knockouts. We have to fight each other." So it's a great fight. I lean towards Bahamondes. I love the guy. That's my lean here. I'm assuming you feel the same way.
Yeah, kinda.
It's a great fight. Yeah. It's fun, man. Someone's getting knocked out, right? I think. I don't think it goes like this. I mean, maybe, but I don't know. This Bahamondes guy, that fight with John McDuffie was very, very, very good card. Very good fight. Yasmin Lucindo. I said this one to you this morning, Marcel.
Yeah.
Yasmin Lucindo against Melissa Martinez. Super smelly. Sorry, super melly. Excuse me. This is like the worst nickname ever. She just called herself super smelly. I think Lucindo's a beast, man. She looked great against what's the girl's name? Yasmin Uregi.
Yasmin Uregi, yeah.
She looked great. I mean, that fight was close. It could have went either way.
Yeah, somebody replied under there like, not every 0-1 is the same,
exactly.
And that's true.
Yeah, I think she wins. Who did Melly lose to? Was it?
Against was it Reed?
Let me check. It was Reed. Yeah, good call. And that's like a loss you don't really want to have, I don't think.
Yeah.
Bruno Brazil against Denise Gomez. I mean, this is a fun fight too. Gomez had some experience now, obviously, but Brazil looked pretty impressive on the show, right? So
yeah, it's actually funny that she got booked almost the same day as her girlfriend, right? So
what's her girlfriend again?
Carl Rosa.
Oh yeah, that's right, Carol Rosa, and she's fighting. We'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
Michelle Watterson Gomez against Luna Pinheiro. I mean, a good fight, but I mean, I don't really think I could pick Michelle anymore. I don't think I could pick her Marcel. Gotta go with Wanda.
I agree.
Coming off that, was it the DQ win against Randa? Was that their last fight?
She fought. Didn't she?
Sam Hughes. Sam Hughes.
Yeah, Sam Hughes.
Yeah. This fight is just weird. I mean, I guess no one wanted to fight Mikheyev. I know Philo's good. Like, don't get me wrong, he's actually pretty good, but this fight's just weird. Don't you think it's a weird fight?
I think nobody wanted to fight Mikheyev, indeed, and he wanted to fight in March in London, so they gave him a fight against a guy who was available. That's what I think,
Yeah. Man, this guy's good. He's definitely good, but I don't know. I don't see him beating Muhammad. Let's be honest. Yeah. Why is Jake laughing? Did he want the fight? Did he ask for it?
He and Mikheyev are like, how do you say that, beefing for a long time. So he's pretty much laughing because he gets a debut fight. I think you can open the replies. Yeah. You can see it there probably.
Yeah, that's fine. He says he's ducked them. That's interesting. I don't know if it's true, but
no idea.
Carl Rosa, Nora Dumont, good fight.
Featherweight.
Yeah, two big girls.
And to be honest, we should keep Norma at featherweight for obvious reasons.
Obviously, she's got to stay at feather. Those thighs are big, man. I like Carol Rosa though, man. I think she's good. You know, I lean towards her a little bit here. That'd be my lean. Yeah. Junior Taffa. It's not Justin, it's his brother against Austin Lane. I lean toward the Junior Taffa guy, honestly.
Me too. People were like, isn't he fighting Parker Porter? No, his brother.
The technique I think will shine here.
Yeah,
good striker. Leon and Usman 3. I mean, I don't really know. I have
everybody was asking me why you're using an old picture of Kamaru. Well, it's very simple. That's the most recent one with him without the belt.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. Jones and gone. I mean, what a fight.
You know, by the way, this was a good question from somebody, and I wondered as well. I first made Gane versus Jones, you know, and they went with Jones versus Gane. I understand the name value of Jones, but Jones isn't ranked, you know.
Yeah, that's interesting. I saw that in the poster, right? I think just because he's the biggest name, right? He's the superstar. But yeah, it is interesting. I agree with that. Gaethje Fiziev, what a great fight. I do lean Fiziev though, guys. I mean, how do you not? Like, I mean, Gaethje's just taking so much damage, right? Like,
confirmed co-main event for London. Yeah.
Yep. A couple other fights. Bear 2, Alves Brenner. Alves. Don't know a lot about this guy. He's short notice, right, for Joel Alvarez.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I guess I'd lean to Rob, but he doesn't fight that often anymore. So, a couple other fights. Steven Peterson, Lucas Alexander. I just saw this one. Good fight. It's in San Antonio, so
yeah,
near Peterson's hometown. I don't know. I guess I'd lean Peterson. I don't know. I mean, he had a really close fight with Julian Erosa. He's pretty good. Not great though. So.
Stephen, you know, if you fight Steven Peterson, you always get a tough fight. That's for sure. You know,
100%. His record is 19-10, but like that doesn't tell. Again, it doesn't tell the whole story, right? Like a lot of these are close decisions and stuff.
He kind of reminds me all the time a little bit like Jeremy Stevenson, but smaller. You know, is the way how intense he is. You know, I don't mean the technique or whatever, but the way how intense he is, and he's like really like the dude like. You don't want to mess with him, you know. That's how he looks, and he's a fun fighter to watch, but he doesn't always rise to the occasion. And this is a good fight for him, I think. And Lucas Alexander, he had a bad debut on short notice against Joanderson Brito. We'll see what's next for him. You know, we will see how he does in this one.
Carlston Harris and Raheem Brahmaj. I like Harris, but interesting fight for sure. This is a couple of weeks. It's not that long, month from now. Yeah,
I mean, Rami's good fighter, you know, solid, very good on the ground overall, and Carlston Harris also good fighter. He got a great win against Saigat Isgakmayev. Sorry, guys, in UIA Warriors where he got signed.
Yeah,
and he saw solid wins on his record as well with Michel Pereira, for example. You know, so good fighter.
Veronica Macedo. It's actually Veronica Hardy, I think, now, right? She's Dan Hardy's wife now.
It's officially still as Macedo on the UFC website. So I used Macedo. The moment it went Hardy, I'm gonna go with Hardy because she saw also. I don't know if you saw that the news messages with Tracy Cortez has now changed it back to Tracy Cortez and not Ortega, and all their pictures are of each other's Instagram. So
yeah.
That's what happens, guys and girls, when you put your whole private life on socials, you know. But it sucks, you know, for them. And I mean, at the same thing, that's why I always say I know people, for example, who have like together accounts, you know, on Facebook or Instagram. Like when you have a girlfriend or you have a boyfriend, you have together accounts. It just doesn't work, man. That's how I think about it. But hey, who am I? I'm just a cocksucker from the Netherlands, you know. So whatever.
Oh man, Dan Hardy is 40 years old and she's 27. Good for him, man. Got a much younger wife.
She looks good as well.
she's very attractive, no doubt about it. Good for Dan. I mean, obviously he's a legend, so good for him. Juliana Miller, I kind of was gonna say I like Juliana Miller in the fight though. I mean, she's an absolute. I know. She's so good, dude.
And Dan will corner Veronica, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. Let me just go through these. We'll take your questions, guys. I want to go through these matchups. Alex Teixeira, Nate Landwehr, great fight. Yeah, I mean, great fight. I mean, the winner will be the 15th guy. So Alex has looked great, though. I think it's hard to go against him, but Nate has looked good, too. So good one. Jordan Wright, Zach Pagua. Zach knocks him out. And then that fight obviously is happening. So Chris Duncan, Michael Thalak's not happening anymore. They got canceled. Gunnar Nelson, Dan Rodriguez is a great fight. Eileen D-Rod, but obviously got submitted in the last fight, so that's interesting.
That happened.
Saw that one.
That happened.
I'll be seeing these ones
this week.
Yeah, we'll just close that now. A couple other questions we'll take, guys, and we'll get out of here in a sec.
Yeah.
Is McKinney coming back too soon? Possibly, because he just got surgery, right? So does Muhammad deserve a top 15? He does, but I don't want him. He's still young. Holloway and Demir at 155. That would be good. I would favor Max. I mean, Demir's, I think, retired now too, right? So watch Michelle and person along the entire crowd turned against her. Yeah, it's interesting. She lost, right? Against Lemos. Okay, it's an Alex Perez turned down. It's interesting. Also, Jeff Lena, he got his hand caught in the cookie jar. That's what happened here. It's too bad. Jeff's young guy, but he fucked himself, fucked his career. So his career's probably over, which is unfortunate because he's a good fighter. But him and James Krause fucked over so many people. So let's just be honest. Like he's just not a good guy and screwed over a lot of people. So, and that was one of the guys he screwed over. He probably was like, "Oh, Jeff, you're fine, man. You're good." And Jeff's a young guy. He just was very naive about it, right? And I know James Krause is just not a good guy, Marcel. Would you kind of agree with him on that one?
It just does look bad, It just looks bad in total, and I'm really afraid this is not the last thing that's come.
I know. There's going to be other people like David Oyama. Yeah. That's another guy, right?
Mm-hmm. Let's hope not. But
I know because I love David, but I just it's interesting. He's got pulled from his fight, and he early odds for KT50. I saw I want to say James Lynch tweeted something. I don't know if Bodog was the one who posted it, but I want to say that it was Gaethje that was the favorite, which didn't make sense to me. I think Fiziev should be favored in that fight. Fiziev fights calm, collected, huge chances of winning, but the crowd influences him. Could be 50-50. I don't know, man. Just after knocking out RDA, I think it's hard to pick against him. And I agree. I think it's good. That's hilarious. I think you'll see Fiziev end as the favorite there. Feels like fights fall through and Ali Abdelaziz manages both of them like Max or Darius. One pulls out, the other gets easier replacement. Possibly. No Hamza, no Romanov, no Nunes. True. What's next for them? I don't know. Thoughts on Aliyev and Alves?
Fun fight. Good fight.
Yeah. I think Bahrain tainted by Krause 100%, man. Unfortunately, John. He did. The true that Laura Sanko's husband filed for divorce.
I don't know. She didn't tell me, so. I'm sorry.
Where'd you see that? Where'd you see that? I'm asking the guy because I know that James Krause was confirmed to file divorce from his wife. But as far as Laura Sanko goes, I have no idea, to be honest with you. You just know what Megan Anderson said, and I don't really believe that woman. So, the France of the UFC who thinks heavyweight champ. I think we both picked Gon. We both picked him, and now he's going to fight for the belt. Crazy, eh? That prediction is looking pretty good now, isn't it, Marcel?
It is.
All right, I think that's it, man. We're good. We just passed the hour mark, guys. So a lot of fun on this podcast today, Marcel. Glad to be back. We'll be back next Monday. I'll feel better. I'll do it next Monday. Just wasn't having a good day yesterday, but I appreciate you guys coming on Tuesday here. All right, Marcel, you can follow him on Twitter at BigMarcel24. Follow me on Instagram as well. Follow me on Twitter at MMADamMartin, podcast at MMAOBDailyPodcast.com. Like, share, subscribe, tell your friends about it, bookies.com, mymainnews.com, MMAOBDailyPodcast.com. Also follow Marcel at Eurosport. So, there's a lot of things that we got going on this year. Looking forward to a good year, Marcel. Hopefully some good picks this year. I'm glad you guys were able to join us for the chat. And hope everyone has a good week. Enjoy the card, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Take care. Bye.